Hey everybody, it's Aaron from the Kilby Life, bringing another Kilby Life video. Today we're going to be talking about becoming better people, growing as people, not just staying where we are, being better, not worse, okay? Not worse, better. Who wants to go somewhere just to be worse? And welcome to the Kilby Smackdown Challenge. It's a silly name, but it's serious business. I bet everyone really wants to hear this message right now, because it's the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I bet you guys did really good giving up that sugar. Yeah, I bet you did. So we're going to be talking about inner growth, spiritual growth, growing as a person, improvement, personal improvement, or personal development. How do we change? How do we become better people over time? I'm going to give you guys a few tools and some things that I've done as recommendations. But before we get started, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink that has all the stuff you want with none of the junk. It comes with a science-backed recipe of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. There it is right there. It's good for anybody on a carnivore diet, paleo diet, keto diet, I would say any diet. I was looking at one of my friends at work, and he had this bottle, this drink that he bought from the store, and it was $1, and I was just like, I looked at it, I was like, I've heard people say like, oh, these are expensive. And sure, for some people and their budgets, but I was looking at that dollar drink, I'm like, that thing is only sugar. That thing is only sugar for $1. I'm like, I would gladly just buy Element and I get this no sugar, no carbs, and then get the hydration and add electrolytes to my diet. Because drinking that stuff it's like reminding me of Kool-Aid, when I was a kid. Like, it cannot be good for you. That's so why I like Element. And they do have this unflavored version that I recommend. No carbs, no sugars, nothing. And they do have a lot of different flavor versions. Hey, Thanksgiving's tomorrow, so I'm gonna have some tomorrow because it's time to celebrate and have a nice grapefruit or watermelon or raspberry drink. But right now, Element is offering our viewers one free sample pack of all of their flavors, so you can try all their flavors with any purchase. All you need to do is go to drinkelement.com/Kilby. That's DRINKLMNT.com/Kilby to claim your free sample pack today. So where are you headed? Where are you going in life? What's your destination? Do you have it mapped out? Do you have it planned out? Do you know where you're going? Do you know who you want to be? When you look in the mirror right now, do you see the person that you want to see, or is the person you want to be somewhere off in the distance? I mean, that's a tough question. Are you going to have the answer to that? I don't know. So I've worked with teenagers and young adults for years and years and years. What I like to do often is to set them up. I'd be like, so how much smarter are you right now than you were 1 year ago? And usually like, oh, I'm so much smarter. And then sometimes some of them get it. They're like, hey, wait, are you calling me dumb now? It's like, well, if you were dumb 1 year ago and you didn't know this, and this, but now you're smart now because you've learned all these things done in the last year, maybe that should be accompanied by a little bit of humility, saying, hey, you don't know what you don't know, and you got some things to learn. And so when it comes to personal growth, I think we need to kind of think about where we want to go. Who do we want to be? And then also do things and come up with good habits to get there. That being said, no one's going to be perfect. No one's going to arrive somewhere and be like, well, I'm done growing. We always have room for growth. I don't think we should look at it as something daunting. I think we should look at it as an adventure and just be very cautious about what we do so we don't turn into someone we don't like. But we should also be excited to see who we can be and who we can grow into be, and just proud of the work we put into it. One of the things that's really hard for me to do is be present in the moment. I'm always looking for the next thing. I can't just be. I can't relax. there's a scripture that says, I waited patiently on the Lord and you heard my cry. It's like, well, I'm not sure if I've ever waited patiently, which is not completely true, but it is something I wrestle with. I'm always going, always trying to do that next thing. And what's going to be the next thing? What's the next adventure? What's the next exciting thing in my life? And it's just hard for me to slow down. But as I've aged and worked on it, I've been able to do some of those types of things. If you want to be present in the moment, you got to find a way to realize or start contemplating that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And does that mean you might have made mistakes? Yeah. But if you think that you're in a place right now that you shouldn't be, then you're not going to have the right perspective to get out of it. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Sure, maybe you made mistakes and now you're paying for them. But guess what? You have opportunity to get out of the hole you dug for yourself. And because the burner was hot when you touched it and there was penalty for the things that you did, potentially, you're going to not do them again, hopefully, and grow out of it. But the reality is this world we live in is tough. And a lot of bad stuff happens to good people, and good stuff happens to bad people, and a lot of it doesn't make any sense, no rhyme or reason. But I think every moment of our lives, either if it's someplace good or bad from our perspective, can all be used by God for good. So it's impossible to believe that there's a God and to also believe that you're not where you're supposed to be right now. And when it comes to inner growth, that's the catalyst. Right now, I'm where I'm supposed to be. But I don't have to stay here. I have hope. I have purpose. There's places I can go. There's places you can go. You don't have to stay exactly where you are. And you could be a better version of yourself tomorrow, the next day, next year, and it can blow you away. So obviously as a Christian man, there's some things I would recommend. I would say get yourself a Bible. Get yourself a Bible you can read. This Bible was given to me, and I had to get the cover redone by my dad on Christmas 2000. This was given to me on my first Christmas with my father in the year 2000, because that's the year I met him. And look, it says Aaron James Hill, because that used to be my last name for the first 25 years of my life. This wouldn't be the Kilby life, it would be the Hill life. What kind of weird backwoods thing is that? But I've read this Bible, I wore out the cover of it, and I got in here and it started changing me as a person. I read this Bible, I try to read it every single day, at least some. Do I always get something amazing out of it? No. But sometimes I get sayings like, fleet-footed as a wild gazelle. I'm like, what? Okay. This one, The Blessed Life. This was the best book I read about giving. I know people have issues with the church and giving and all this kind of stuff, but this is the best book. It has motivated me and changed the way I think about giving. I'm a giver. Marriage on the Rock. I don't have the cover for this, but this is the best book I've ever read about marriages. This is the book I've always recommended and that I've taught through when I do people's weddings. Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. This is one of the best books I've ever read in my life. It has chapters like, don't bother children when they're skateboarding, pet a cat when you encounter one on the street. And I have to say, yes, this is the best book I've ever read. I'm actually reading a book by Jordan Peterson right now. That's 12 More Rules. It's not as good as this book. But I'm reading books. I'm becoming a different person when I read these books. I spend time in books. I also recommend this book, The Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book by Bronson. And this is like what I go to when I'm learning about metabolic health and working out. And let's see, what does it says? Eat more and get skinny. Oh, sounds good to me. How to get the most out of your workouts. Yes, okay. A lot of information in here that I have consumed that has changed me as a person. Another thing you can do is journal. I'm not a big journaler. Oh, maybe this is a journal. Maybe I do journal. Yeah, when it comes to just writing, I can't read my own writing and my brain works way faster than I can write, so it doesn't work for me. But if you're good at journaling, journal. Prayer. Prayer is a good thing. Getting up, getting outside, seeing the beauty of the outside, getting fresh air. And sometimes it's like, we don't want to do it because it's cold or whatever hurdles. You got to find ways to get over these hurdles to grow, to become the person that you want to be. I'm reminded that we often want like big gestures, but I will tell you right now that a lot of little steps make big step. Right? A lot of little steps make big step. Yes, I understand the concept. Yes. We often just want a big bam, done. No. It's the small stuff. It's the little habits, the little routines that we build for ourselves that change us in the long run. And when it comes to carb and sugar addiction, if this is something you really wrestle with, it's going to be difficult. And that's why the verbiage is wrestling. It's difficult, it's exhausting, it's a battle, it's a fight. You're gonna have to battle and fight. You're gonna have to wrestle, and you're gonna have to look back at what you did, look in the mirror and say, okay, next time I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna make different decisions. I'm gonna make different choices. Experiment. You're probably doing it right now. You're probably like, hey Aaron, yeah, duh. You gotta work on yourself. You gotta go somewhere, you know, but no, a lot of times people give up. It might be you. You might have given up. Probably not if you're watching this video, but there's probably something you're wrestling with that you're trying to turn your I don't want to and to want to. That's okay. It ebbs and flows, but the real goal is not to give up. The real goal is to keep experimenting and finding ways to grow. And I'm just reminded of when I started to learn to play guitar. I saw people that play guitar and I was like, dude, that is cool. You know, rock and roll, man. I wish I could play guitar and that girls liked me. Yeah, that's not how it works. But it was like, pluck a string here and there, like, oh, okay, I'm playing guitar, but can I actually play guitar? Over years of practice, I was like, oh, I actually can play guitar now. And I never thought I was gonna be a guitar player. I'm not a professional or anything like that, but because I put time and effort into doing it and learning, and I'm still doing it 20-some years later, I have grown and become a guitar player. And I just remember thinking one day, wow, I never thought I would be a guitar player, but now I am. Awesome. What am I going to do with it? Play Freebird? But you'll never know what you can be unless you start putting some work into it. You'll never know where you'll get unless you start working on yourself. It's time for some growth in your life. I assume there's some already happening, but I would implore you to be strategic and make a plan. And where do you want to see yourself in a year? 5 years. Don't go over 5 years. It's too far away. But again, I just want to thank everyone for watching these Kilby Life videos. Thanks for all the likes, subscribes, all the kind words. Yeah, we're almost done with the Sugar Slam Down Challenge. And is it going to help anyone? I have no idea. But I kind of wanted to go through the process of what it takes to stop carb and sugar addiction, to be able to send people some tools of some random guy yapping and rambling in his garage. But I'm hoping that you grow through this and I actually grow through this. And our next challenge is going to be about, oh, you're going to have to wait. You're going to have to wait until next week to know what it is. It's the final one too.